there, Taurus. Welcome to your end of May 2023 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here. There's your card. Did you know that? I don't think it should be your card. I think, the Empress makes sense for your card, but not that. Because that's about the clergy. And, there might be a few things that it makes sense that it's your card. But we're going to go with it, right? I think there's a lot of fallout with some of these readings I've been doing with the eclipses that we've had. This one in Scorpio, yikes, right? Or I don't know, maybe some of you have experienced some good stuff. But, this could have affected a relationship for you, possibly. And, it's a lunar eclipse, so maybe there were secrets that came out. As a matter of fact, when I talk about this card, this is a card that is associated with marriage and other traditions. And because you're a fixed sign, Taurus, and you're an earth sign, you may maybe cling is too strong a word, but you may adhere to these kinds of things because it's safe, this idea of something that we have done, like a ritual or a tradition, that it has this security attached to it. And it's interesting, if you look at that backdrop, it looks like the Stairway to Heaven. I've been humming a song by Led Zeppelin today, not Stairway to Heaven, but the rain song, and it started raining. And so this is a card that is associated with the spiritual, but you can see that the widest rung is on the earth plane, if you will. That's towards the ground. And this is kind of how you operate, where you are much more comfortable doing things starting from the broadest perspective and working your way up to something that is more specific to whatever it is that you're talking about. So in this case, we're talking about the spiritual. There's a quote from the Bible. The way is narrow, or something like that. And the earth, that's where a lot of people are operating, on that 3D level. And Taurians are experiencing a transit of Uranus in your sign, and so you're getting that dose of the galactic, which kind of blows everything out into this cosmic level that transcends all of the kind of worldly things that you're used to. And of course, this is very expansive, but it's also very disorienting. And it could be that you are not as connected to someone because of it, because you're growing in a different direction. And if that's the case, you have to be willing, with these eclipses that have been in your first and seventh house, to let go when necessary. I'm not saying that would be true for all of you, but for those for whom it resonates, think about that, because you might be inclined to hold on even tighter, and that's not necessarily where it's at. In the past position, this kind of enhances what I'm saying. The Three of Wands, you can see that, first of all, the wands are like tips of fire for these, and they're like tiki torches or something. But really what they represent is expansion. Wands represent fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sag. So perhaps it is somebody that you are interested in of that sign, but just in terms of the energy itself, the influence itself is about expanding your territory. So instead of the same old, you want more. I think the Three of Wands can even be like an entrepreneurial energy. The higher message is the King of Cups. This is very, you see that person's got like a pendant with a fish on it. This might be connected to a mature Pisces. Pisces is a compatible sign with yours, but this person, you see, they show him having his crown, but it's like floating above his head. It's like the crown chakra is keeping his crown aloft because of that energy that's flowing through like that. And that almost looks like a singing bowl that he is playing or something like that. So what this can mean at the higher level is that if, for instance, you feel trapped in a marriage, that you feel like you, with the Three of Wands, you want to transcend the confines. Sometimes we pick someone when we are in a different state of consciousness. And all we are interested in is maybe that person is physically attractive, or that person, oh wow, they have a nice job. Or maybe we think that we actually are in love with them because we really don't know the depth of love. We just know what, is familiar to us. And then you discover that, in fact, it's really not like that. There's more to the story there. And you revise what you're interested in. So the King of Cups can be this emotional maturity, spiritual maturity that you have begun to attain, and it could also speak to that type of person, a spiritual type of person. This can even be like a spiritual mentor or teacher, guru, as we typically call them, that is helping you to grow, and therefore the Three of Wands is like you have outgrown your little enclosure, and you need a wider place to roam. And by the way, this can also apply for work situations. I would say with the Hierophant, especially if you work in an organizational setting where there is this hierarchy, and you really are looking for something more personal to you, where you're not feeling as if you are a cog in the wheel. What crosses you is the Queen of Swords, and this is a card of perhaps not being in touch with one part of what this represents. The Queen represents water, which is the intuitive, and the Swords represents the air, which is very analytical. And so in some cases, you might have someone who is very analytical, but they're not in touch with their heart. And so they might be trying to make changes to a relationship, and they're not really tuning into their emotional state, which may be quite distraught. They might be feeling sad about what's happening, but they can't get in touch with that. Because Taurus as a sign itself is an earth sign. So it's not particularly emotional. And that means that the person may not realize how much they're hurting or how much they need to kind of heal from something. And then if you are too much in your emotions, it's hard to really be objective, because you might just be so plugged into something. By the way, this could be something that happened to you. So for instance, you're married and the Three of Wands is your partner wanting that, your partner wanting freedom, and you may have taken it as a personal affront that person wanted that freedom, thinking that there was something wrong with you when there's nothing wrong with you. What's coming in is the Ten of Swords. This is, it's only up from here, so it's the worst is over. But for some people, there also has to be an acknowledgement of betrayal in order to fully see those black birds of negative thoughts kind of fly away. Because if you're not really tuned into exactly what happened and why, then you may be at risk for allowing it to go unprocessed, which means that you're not really aware of everything that happened and why it happened. And I think that this happens sometimes because people are eager to move on, but moving on can't be truly done until you have integrated the experience within yourself, which only means that you accept it. You don't try to shove it under the rug or deny it, but you accept that happened. Like, for instance, let's say that your partner left. And I'm talking about, as you know, it could even be before the lunar eclipse on May 5th. Maybe this is something, because sometimes the eclipses affect people before then, and we actually had a lunar eclipse last May in Scorpio. So let's say in the past year you have had a breakup and your partner left, but you tried to either just throw yourself into your work and not deal with it, and so that's kind of shoving it under the rug. Or maybe you went out and started trying to, party or something, trying to not have to think about it. But that is not integration. Integration is being able to acknowledge it as it is, and then say, and all is well, because you know that it doesn't reflect badly on yourself, that it had to do with maybe that person felt like they could not achieve what they wanted to achieve. Maybe they wanted to move to a different country and you said no, and so that you were incompatible in that way, and they wanted that experience. Sometimes people break up for reasons that have nothing to do with not caring for one another. The outcome is the Three of Pentacles, and this is also with work relationships. This is a card of teamwork, or co-workers who are working very well together. This is a great card for money. This is a card, I feel like, of things restoring themselves to something that is, very functional and very fruitful. So maybe you're doing something productive with others rather than feeling this sense of there being this disconnect. And so it's, you are Pentacles. So it's really your expansion too with the number 3. That's what I have for you, Taurus. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.